But hey, it's over, you know. Hey, I made it through and I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a positive.
That's right.
It's good to see everyone.
Okay, Patrick, you've disappeared, so I can't see when you give me the finger. Oh, okay, all right, there you are. All right,
Everybody. There's Jason.
Good evening. Call the regular meeting of the Mount Clemens Board of Education remotely, electronically being hosted to order. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bruley. Mrs. Escalante. I'm sorry you're hearing me.
Here.
Dr. McFadden. Mr. Monk.
Here.
Mr. Rickman.
Here.
Miss Jarrett.
Here.
Mrs. Walker.
Here.
A quorum has been established. Next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. So we've got a flag or face the east, and I will start. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda, although and even though we're having our meetings electronically and being live streamed on YouTube, this is the portion of the meeting where you, the citizens, can address the board with any questions, comments, or concerns. We ask that you state your name and address. We ask that you be mindful you have 3 minutes of which to make your inquiries. And last, we ask you may not receive a response to your particular inquiry tonight. And I ask that you address all comments, questions, and concerns to the chair. The agenda is now open for citizens' comments.
Hello, this is Mary Campbell, Mount Clemens Education Association president. I wanted to take this time, especially in the month of May, to express my appreciation for the teachers and the staff in Mount Clemens. With Teacher Appreciation this week being, or this year being the first week of May, and us all being out in COVID, the teachers have worked especially hard in order to meet the needs of their students and their families, to do what they can to support the other staff in our district and things like that. And I just think that now more than ever, it's time to share your appreciation and my appreciation for the teachers in our district. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. The agenda is still open for citizens' comments.
This is Mary Campbell, Mount Clemens Education Association president, and I have another comment if it's appropriate.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to take this time to thank Elizabeth Jensen for her service in Mount Clemens for the last 5 years. Ms. Jensen has worked very hard at helping the district come up with a viable curriculum, has guided us in regards to testing, and she is a data whiz. She and I may not have always agreed on many things, and but we do appreciate each other, and I myself, as well as many of the teachers, will miss her guidance in the future. So I wish her well. The teachers wish her well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Agenda is still open for citizens' comments. Still open, citizens' comments. Last call for citizens' comments. Hearing or seeing none, moving the agenda. Next on the agenda are the action items, beginning with action item 5, which is the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, item A, approval of the minutes for the April 15th, 2020 regular meeting and the April 20th, 2020 board workshop. Item B, approval of the minutes for the May 15th, 2020 board workshop. Item C, business committee. A, approval of bills for payment. B, no, we want to probably, let's stop at 5B, approval of the minutes of the April 15th, 2020 regular meeting and the April 2020 board workshop, and the approval of the minutes for the May 15th, 2020 board workshop, excuse me. The chair would entertain a motion.
So move to approve the consent agenda, Dr. McFadden.
It is moved by Dr. McFadden to approve the consent agenda, items 5A and B. Is there a second? Support. I think I heard Mrs. Jarrett. Any questions, comments, concerns on item 5A and B, approval of the minutes? Hearing or seeing none, call roll.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett,
Yes.
Mr. Bruley, I believe still not here, sorry.
I'm here now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Escalante,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Monk,
Yes.
and Mr. Rickman.
Yes, the motion carries. Action item agenda 6. These are items that came before the business committee. Approval of the bills for payment. B, ISD, approval of MISD proposed fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. C, approval of fiscal year 2019-2020 proposed final amendment. Item D, approval of fiscal year 2020 to 2021 proposed original budget. Chair would entertain a motion relative to item 6, the business committee recommendations.
I would move approval of the bills for payment.
Moved by Mr. Bruley. Agenda item A, approval for the bills for payment. Is there a second?
Support.
It sounds like I heard Mr. Monk.
Yep.
Second by
Dr.
Mr.
McFadden.
Monk. Or Dr. McFadden, one of them.
I heard Mr. Monk first.
Oh, that was Dr. McFadden.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll get on to Dr. McFadden.
Hey, thank you for the compliment. Sound like Mr. Monk.
All
No
right,
problem. Appreciate that.
any questions, comments on the motion on the floor? Item 6A, approval of the bills for payment.
Just at the committee met, we went through them all and we found them to be in order.
Thank you. Any additional comments? Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
Okay, Mr. Bruley,
Yes.
Mr. Monk. I'm sorry, Dr. McFadden.
Yes.
I have allergies. Okay, Ms. Jarrett,
Yes.
Mr. Monk,
Yes.
Ms. Escalante,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman.
Yes, motion carries. The chair would entertain a motion. Agenda item 6B, approval of the proposed Macomb Intermediate School District 2020 to 2021 budget.
I would so move.
Moved by Mr. Brewley,
Support.
second by Ms. Jarrett. Any questions, comments, discussion on the motion on the floor? Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bruley,
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett,
Yes.
Ms. Escalante,
Yes.
Mr. Monk,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Yes.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
and Mr. Rickman.
Yes, motion carries. The chair would entertain a motion relative to agenda item 6C, fiscal year 2019-2020 proposed final amendment. Chair is seeking a motion.
I'll move C. This is
Moved
Bruley.
by Mr. Brewley to approve item 6C, fiscal year 2019-2020 proposed final amendment. Is there a second?
Second, Janine.
Second, Mrs. Walker. Any questions, comments, discussion on the motion on the floor?
We had a long discussion in the committee about it, and the superintendent answered all of our questions at that time.
And we did also discuss this at the on our Thursday workshop meeting. So if there's additional questions, comments, concerns on the motion on the floor. And the motion on the floor is to approve the fiscal year 2019-2020 proposed final amendment. Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
Ms. Bruley,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Yes.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Ms. Escalante,
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett,
Yes.
Mr. Monk,
Yes.
and Mr. Rickman.
Yes, the motion carries. The chair would entertain a motion relative to agenda item 6D, fiscal year 2020-2021 proposed original budget.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Monk,
Support.
second by Mrs. Jarrett. Questions, comments, discussion on the motion on the floor?
We discussed this at our finance meeting as well as at our meeting on Thursday as well. So
Thank you, Mrs. Jarrett. Any additional questions, comments, concerns on the motion on the floor?
Yeah, just a comment. I think the superintendent described it best, that this is a good outline, but can include later changes from category to category. This represents the money that we have, but it isn't necessarily a finished product as to how we're going to spend each and every dollar. But it is a good beginning to that process.
Thank you, Mr. Brewley. As we all know, you can amend the budget at any point if you receive more resources or you have to decrease what your expenditures are. So thank you for those comments. And this was, again, discussed last Thursday and then more in detail at the committee meeting. Any additional questions? Yes, Ms. Escalante.
I just wondered, this is just out of curiosity, is the enhancement money reflective on that budget as well as like any CARE Act funds? Was that discussed on Thursday? Am I just not recalling it?
Yes, it is. There are several different funding sources. And at this point, this is our best guess of what the cumulative funding will be and the shortfall would be. So, and they did tell us like we can't be 100% sure until it actually happens. So,
okay,
this is why we stuck with this particular budget. at this
Okay.
time. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
But yes. Mhm.
Any additional questions, comments, discussion on the motion on the floor? Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Monk,
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Yes.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Ms. Escalante,
Yes.
Ms. Bruley,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman.
Yes, the motion carries. The chair would entertain a motion relative to agenda item 7A out of the Personnel Committee, and we had it was part of the Committee of the Whole last Thursday. The approval of the MISD agreement for superintendent services beginning April 1, 2020 through June 30, 2020, and July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2021.
I make a motion to approve.
Moved by Mrs. Jarrett,
Support.
second by Ms. Walker. Are there any questions, comments, discussion on the motion on the floor?
Comment?
Yes, sir.
I find the contracts to be in order. I don't have any disagreement with the contract. I do have, as reflected in my past votes, a disagreement with the process of how we got here. So I intend to vote for it because the contracts themselves are perfectly fine. But I would think a process should be established so that in the future we give ourselves enough time to handle issues like this.
Thank you, Mr. Brewley. Any additional questions, comments, discussion on the motion on the floor? Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
Ms. Jarrett,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Monk,
Yes.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Ms. Bruley,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman.
Yes, motion carries. Agenda item 8, Policy Committee. Do Mrs. Davis or Mr. Monk, who wants to handle this?
I'll do it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Fellow board members, I move to submit the following policies for second reading and adoption. And the reading of those policies are Policy 2210, revised curriculum deployment, approved courses. Policy 2412, revised homebound instruction program. Policies 2414, revised reproductive health and family planning. Policy 3362.01, revised threatening behavior toward staff members. Policy 4162, revised controlled substance and alcohol policy for commercial motor vehicle, CMV, drivers and other employees who perform safety sensitive functions. Policy 5200, revised attendance. Policy 5335, new care of students with chronic health conditions. Policy 6107, revised authorization to accept and distribute electronic records and to use electronic signatures. Policy 8210, revised school calendar. Policy 84, revised school safety information. Policy 8462, revised student abuse and neglect. And policy 8600, revised transportation. I so move to adopt these policies for second reading and adoption.
It's moved by, moved by Mr. Monk to move for the second reading and adoption of policy 2210, policy 2412, policy 2414, policy 3362.01, policy 4162, policy 5200, policy 5335, policy 6107, policy 8210, policy 8400, policy 8462, and policy 8600 as presented. Is there a second?
Support.
Second by Mrs. Jarrett. Any questions, discussion on the motion on the floor for the second reading and adoption of the several policies. Anything you'd like to add, Mr. Chair?
No, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Any discussion, questions? Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Monk,
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett,
Yes.
Mr. Rulli,
Yes.
Ms. Escalante,
Yes.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Ms. Walker,
Yes.
and Mr. Rickman.
Yes, motion carries. To point of her, Mr. Shepherd, can you go back to the agenda item 7A, the Personnel Committee? I'm looking at my notes and I don't believe you called Mrs. Escalante for a vote.
Okay, 7A.
7A, yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Escalante.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you. Moving the agenda forward, we're at informational items. Item 9, Business Committee. Are there any additional comments coming out of the Business Committee?
All of our, the business committee, we discussed the information about these from the financial reports, etc., as well as things that are upcoming. Those were all discussed at the meeting, and we also discussed some of them at the workshop that we had. So no, we don't have any additional information unless Teresa has anything new.
Any questions or comments to the chair or anyone on the committee?
If I could make a comment.
Sure.
Especially the Carnes Center, I think it would be prudent for us to have a committee that included numbers of people and investigations be done to prepare for our eventual full sponsorship. We'd include people in the school community and in the community in general so that we could flush out, get ideas, and make the center really viable and working. I think if we wait, it will be a problem. I think we need to anticipate it a little bit more than we have in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Brewley. Any additional? Okay. Yeah. Financial reports. Any questions from the financial report regarding the financial reports? Any questions regarding item B, open purchase order listing, open purchase order listings? Item C, the contract listings. And Mr. Brewley made comments regarding the Carnes Center. Moving the agenda, item 10, superintendent's comments. Mrs. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. These days are quickly going by, and it's amazing. It was just March 16th that we started this new venture, new way of life. And it started off kind of rough, but I'm pleased to say that our staff is befitting that this is Teacher Appreciation Month, as our staff stepped up to the plate, and they have done a phenomenal job making sure that we contact each of our students and making sure that we get the packets out to our kids, as well as the food for feeding. And it started off, everybody was wondering, what are we going to do? But Mount Clemens staff stepped up and they've done a wonderful job. So I want to make sure I say kudos to each and every one, and especially our essential workers as well. Our teachers just deserve this month for us to step back and say thank you. You are greatly appreciated, and you have gone above to make sure that each student is contacted. We haven't been successful in 100%, but we have not stopped trying to make sure that we contact those students. So we're thankful for all of our teachers. Also, we we do have a small token for each of our teachers as well, so they should be able to pick those up in their respective workplaces. Okay. Just want to make a reminder that meals at the high school will not be served on Monday, May the 25th. That is also Memorial Day. So we just want to make sure folks remember that. But there will be extra meals in the on Friday for the holiday break. And also beginning on Wednesday, May the 27th, the high school location will not be serving meals until further notice due to construction. As you know, we've had some issues with the roof, and the contractors will be coming out to rope off the parking lot and get that work underway. So we are excited to make sure that when the school does start back in the fall, or whenever it starts back, we will have a new leak-proof roof. So just be aware of that. But you can pick up meals. High school meals can be picked up at the Seminole location. So make sure instead of coming over to the high school and secondary location, please go to Seminole, and those meals will be over there. And we have been approved to serve meals under the unanticipated school closure through June 30. Usually school would be done, what would that be, June, I think the last day would be the 12th. Anyway, so we have gotten our application approved to go all the way through June 30, which that is on a Tuesday. So meals have been approved through that date. So please continue to pick up your meals. Let's see. And we plan to start summer feeding on July 6th. A waiver has been issued for us to keep the same style of pickup service for the meals. So when our summer feeding program or application is approved, we will communicate that as far as the times, dates, and locations. And Mr. Vera Hodges will be in contact with us with an updated robocall. And a special thank you to our food service workers. Again, they have been doing a great job in making sure that all of our students were fed. And I'm understanding that those numbers are increasing every week. And I do want to say thank you to Mr. Paul Shepard and Ms. Cynthia Icor. They have been delivering meals, I believe now is over, just in their delivery for the door service is over 100 meals on the days that they go out and deliver those. So thank you so much. They're volunteering their time to get those done. So we greatly appreciate those folks for doing that. Okay. And I do want to recognize our senior class of 2020. This has been a most unprecedented time for our seniors, and definitely all over the country and all over the world. I don't think any of them will forget their graduation of the year 2020. They have been, their passage of rights, if you will, has been interrupted, and they don't get the full feeling of being a senior, especially these last few weeks of school. They've been deprived of that privilege. But I know some of the families are putting on special events for their seniors, and signs were delivered in the last couple of weeks to each senior's yard. And thank you to Mr. Duncan and his staff for organizing that and making sure that every senior got their yard sign. So congratulations, seniors. And we do want to make a reminder that you are required to complete the capstone projects, including an exit interview with a panel of secondary teachers and administrators. So please don't forget to get those done. And those exit interviews started this week, and their reflections on their learning through the years are deep and thorough. So thank you for giving those folks that have completed their exit interviews some deep thought and sharing your experience. And the class of 2020 is a tightest family group of students and leaders. And I know all of them are working hard to plan the best celebration possible. So there will be more information on how we will be able to work with those students, and so they can get some sense of rites of passage. And I believe it's on June the 2nd, they will be passing out their caps and gowns, and that's going to take place in our parking lot. So they will be hearing more information coming from the advisors and Mr. Duncan on how to pick up those caps and gowns. Okay. And a few more recognitions, and I'm sure we're going to miss some folks, but here we go. First, I want to recognize Ms. Murphy. She's a para who volunteers her time with Ms. Justice because she loves her students and loves working with Ms. Justice. Deanna Pankatai, who researches every way possible to teach and reach our students and shares it with all staff. So she sends out an email at least once a day, sharing different research projects that she's come across to add to the learning experience for all of our students during this pandemic. Of course, to Mr. Lucas, who works so hard at connecting with staff, keeping up with all of the changes, and really puts a lot of effort into getting their families what they need. So thank you so much, Mr. Lucas. And I would be remiss if I didn't say the same thing for Mr. Duncan and Ms. Tomlinson. During these times, they've made sure that they stay connected with staff, assist them in any way needed. They have regular office hours for parents and staff to come and see them. So thank you so much for our support staff. Our principals, and as well as Ms. Jensen. She has been providing professional curriculum and professional development opportunities during these hours, and they have definitely been working on grants and everything and finalizing this year as well as preparing for next year. So I want to make sure I say thank you to those folks, including Cindy. Just lost her last name, B. But anyway, she also works with our grants. So thank you so much, Cindy. I think she's in Florida working with us. So send some of that sunshine up here. Okay, our third grade team, Ms. Holiday, Ms. Montgomery, Consora, who come in regularly to help Mr. Lucas reach the families with the supplies and packets that they need. So they've been coordinating that since the beginning, back in, March the 16th. So thank you so much to the third grade team. Ms. Matta and Ms. Panetta also works hard on the SIT items that are beyond complicated. So, but they are taking the time to make sure that everyone stays on top of the SIT. So thank you. Of course, Ms. Pratt, who is so genuinely concerned for her students that she reaches out to enrich, to the enrichment team, which is Tier 2, for the Tier 2 connectors. And Pankatai also does that with her. So thank you for you guys and your support in Tier 2 connectors. And as I mentioned before, the whole food service team, they have been just wonderful, making sure that, you know, the food is ready to, and everything is prepared, and coordinating that with the homework packets to make sure everyone's getting that. So food service, we thank you for your tireless work in getting those meals out to our students. And it is way more than just the food with all of the deliveries and packets. Again, Paul and his wife, Jennifer, and then of course, as I mentioned before, Cynthia Icor and her whole gang have just been wonderful and phenomenal, making sure that our students get the food as well as the packets when they don't come to the building to actually pick it up. So those folks are making sure that they are making those deliveries. And of course, June, the support staff over in the office at Seminole, she's always volunteering, so we appreciate her. Juliana Simpson, who reads to her students every single day. She has not missed a day. So we are very thankful for you taking the time to actually read to students. And again, like I said, I already mentioned Ms. Jensen, but all of the information that she's making sure everyone is getting throughout the district. The enrichment team, I believe I mentioned them, the enrichment team who stops at nothing to reach out to students and families and doing it in a creative way. So I want to make sure we give a shout out to them. And the bargaining team, we have been working well, and it's especially in these times, we've never done it like this before, but we have definitely been making progress. And I'm sure Mary Campbell is making sure that her team is always up to date on what is going on. So thank you, Mary, for making sure that everyone is staying abreast of what is happening. The kindergarten team, who makes gigantic packets because they believe our students can and will learn as much as possible. The special education team also joins all the Zoom meetings that are being held with the students and making sure that their peers have the support they need. So I know this is a challenging time, much more challenging for our special needs students, but we want to say thank you to the staff for making sure that they are not left out of the learning experience. So thank you. First grade team, you have been super creative and were first to invite the enrichment teachers to their Zooms. So again, everyone's been working collaboratively and getting all of, making sure our students have a good experience. And I do hope that we have not missed anyone. Ms. Icor has been especially supportive in making sure that we try not to miss anyone, but as always, when you start calling names, you are bound to miss someone. So please forgive me. It charges to my head and not my heart, because all of you guys have done such a great job, and especially during these times. And it just goes to show you how creative our staff can be when they are put to a challenge. They step up to the plate and make sure that no one is left behind. So with all of our, and I would definitely be remiss if I did not recognize our custodial staff. They have been in these buildings and cleaning them every single day, every touch point. So as when you walk in the door, you smell the freshness. And it is far different than what we had before, because they are having to do this deep cleaning every single day. So my hat is off to the staff, the maintenance and custodial staff. Thank you so much. And again, we're Robin, with your group, with our technology. There have been a number of challenges, but you guys have made sure you stepped up to the plate and supported everyone that needed and made any adjustments or corrections or fixes where they were needed. So again, I apologize if I've missed out on anyone. And this board, thank you for this switch, because it's been different for all of us. But we've had 100% every time. And we've been able to take care of business in spite of. So I appreciate the work that you guys are doing and the support that you give this district in making sure that we're able to do what we need to do. So with that, thank you. I'm done.
Did you address the calendar?
Okay. Yes, that is included in your packet,
Okay.
or just as reference, because those. Okay, so that's all that was for. That's you. That's
You all right, Ms. Walker? I'm glad you was at home with that one.
Hey,
Okay.
that wasn't me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was yeah, I think that was one of our guests.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, moving the agenda, item 11, committee reports, business finance. Any additional information, Mrs. Jarrett?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. No, I don't have anything else. I think we pretty much covered everything so far.
All right, any questions, concerns, or comments for the chair or anybody on that committee? Thank you. Mr. Lindenberry, if you're still around, Community Coalition. Thank you, sir. Dr. McFadden, Curriculum Personnel.
I have nothing new in addition to add to the report for the curriculum personnel. We had a committee of the whole meeting. We had an individual committee meeting within itself. So I believe everybody got the information. I heard at least twice or maybe once. Unless there's any more information about it, hey, I'm open for it. So that's all I got.
Any questions of the chair? Thank you, Dr. McFadden. Educational Foundation and Mrs. Davis, if you can have Matt put that into his calendar. There are funds available for the local scholarship from the Educational Foundation. We will distribute those funds until the pool of money that we have in that account is exhausted. So it's the same application we've used the last 2 or 3 years, a one pager. So if you can put that on the calendars for the seniors, because I know we hadn't been talking about it because it's been off of the radar because of the COVID-19 and the total disruption of what's been going on in the whole educational process. But if you can put that out there, excuse me, not for Matt, but for Kurt, to remind the seniors that there is that Educational Foundation scholarship available to them. Any additional new information coming down the track for us to be thinking about regarding policy, Mr. Monk?
No, sir. We just, this was the last batch of we usually get 2 major policy revisions a year. So this is the last major one. We will resume our policy meetings going on forward for next month.
Thank you very much, Mr. Monk. Any questions to Mr. Monk? There has not been a legislative committee meeting since March. Moving the agenda, item 12, board comments.
Mr. President.
Yes.
One question.
Yes, ma'am.
My error. For the curriculum, do you guys have to vote on that, or it's when we presented it? Does that? I don't think you do, but I just want to make sure.
Help me out. I'm trying to read through the cracks. I'm missing something.
Okay. At the workshop, we talked about the curriculum, and Elizabeth and her group presented, told you what we were going to do, and they were interested in the program that they wanted to purchase.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. I was asked about that earlier, and I thought we had already dealt with that, but that was in a workshop. So, yes, there is a contract involved in that. So therefore, it would need to be approved by the board.
Okay.
So,
Hey, Mr. President,
yes, sir.
I'll go ahead and speak a little bit on that if you don't mind.
Go ahead. You're the chair.
Okay. We looked at two programs, or the two programs basically. And the Wonders program was the one that outweighed the other one by a lot. I'm not even going to put up the other one. Dang, I won't talk bad about nobody. But Wonders was the one that came out to be the best product for our district. That was vetted by our instructional staff and our administrative team. We also we talked about the funding for the program, and they gave us option of a 2-year, 2 different payments on that program, and also the money that we spent into the program for the pilot program, for the pilot portion of it, will be also utilized for the cost of that, and there's also throwing in some additional items. So I don't know if we need to vote for that. It makes more sense to go with the one that fits our district, and the cost is pretty much comparable to what we would be paying anyway. But if you require a movement or a motion on that, I move that we go in a contract with the Wonders.
It's been moved by Dr. McFadden to enter into a contract agreement for the curriculum with is the company called the Wonders, or is that the program?
That is the program, I do believe. That's correct, Ms. Davis? And the company name, I don't have my notes for the company names in front of me. You remember the name?
McGraw-Hill.
What's that, Ms. Jensen?
McGraw-Hill is the company.
Yeah, McGraw-Hill. McGraw-Hill Wonders program, curriculum.
It's been moved by Dr. McFadden to approve the agreement with McGraw-Hill's Wonder program for the curriculum. Is there a second?
Support.
Second, Ms. Walker. Any questions, discussion on the motion on the floor? And if we do, this was discussed in great detail last Thursday, but we do have to vote on it. Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
You're muted. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry for my clarification. Which motion item is this?
It's not on the agenda, Paul. It was a recommendation coming from the personnel committee, the curriculum and the committee a whole. First, had a curriculum committee to approve the curriculum of the agreement with to adopt the curriculum for McGraw-Hill's Wonder program.
Okay. I will just leave that part blank then. I got Dr. McFadden.
Yes.
Ms. Walker.
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett.
Yes.
Mr. Monk.
Yes.
Mr. Burley.
Yes.
Ms. Escalante.
Yes.
And Mr. Rickman.
Yes, the motion carries.
Mr. Rickman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Monk.
for clarification and also legality, shouldn't that be added as an item number under the action items just for clarification purposes for the minutes?
Well, it came as a recommendation from the committee under committee reports. So it does not, that would be agenda
Right.
item 11 C. It was moved by at that point. That's the agenda item it would be. So we don't have to change and say this is
So we don't have, so up under that person, so up under that committee, we won't have to say, because I see, okay, all right. Okay.
The recommendation by the committee chair to adopt the curriculum of McGraw-Hill's Wonder program.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it doesn't, up on the action item, we have business committee and personnel, but it don't say anything about curriculum. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, I understand, but since it's coming under a report from the board, a committee report of the board, it can be done at this point in time.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. We were at board comments, and then I was brought back to this. Okay, that's what we're. Now we're back to item 12, board comments. Mr. Brewley.
Pass.
Okay. Ms. Escalante.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Because it wasn't working earlier.
We can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to say to the teachers, I don't think there aren't enough words or deeds or anything really that we can do to show the appreciation. I know me personally, just watching how my children's teachers have interacted with them through this crazy, trying time that none of us expected. It really is. It's humbling and it's motivating. You all are amazing. This district is amazing. The way that you guys have come together, delivering meals, delivering packets. I've dropped packets off to Seminole several times that my kids have finished, and the food staff comes out and asks if you want lunches. I mean, there's an amazing system in place, and I just want to commend all of you and thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you're doing for our kids and reaching the kids that aren't able to get to the school to pick up things. That is amazing. Thank you. And I think every month should be Teacher Appreciation Month during this situation that we're in, because you guys have kept everything going and our kids are still learning because of you all. I also want to give a shout out to the graduates. This is just not fair. You should be celebrating. I know it's already been said. I mean, I think back to when I graduated from this district and just all of the activities and things that were going on and just being together as a class, sitting in that huge auditorium and just watching everybody go across the stage. You're just missing out on so many things, yet you all have come together, and just the way that Mr. Duncan and his staff have, tried to make this a special time, and Miss Davis, and it's not fair. And I hope you all will get an opportunity to, have your do-over at some point. But you should be proud. And I just wish you God's blessings and the best of success in your ventures in life. And I just really, I'm really proud to be a bather myself, and I'm proud of all of you. I also want to just thank all of the support staff, the food service, the principals, custodians, secretaries, and the superintendent. You guys, you've all been challenged a lot, and I commend you all. I just really don't have enough words of gratitude for everything you guys have had to deal with, and the way you've had to switch things around and just kind of acclimate to a time that, again, none of us were expecting to be in. So, with that said, also to all of my colleagues, you guys are all amazing, and it's great to work with all of you. And I'm so ready for human contact. I'm so tired of seeing people on the computer. But I'm thankful at the same time that we have this opportunity. It's better than nothing. You can at least interact a little bit. So I wish everybody well. I hope that everybody has a very safe holiday. I don't know what that's going to look like as far as, the quarantine and all of that kind of stuff goes, but just try to enjoy it as much as you can. Get outside, get some air. Hopefully we'll have some sunshine, and be well. And those are my comments.
Thank you, Ms. Escalante. Mr. Monk.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to congratulate our seniors, class of 2020. No matter what this situation have brought aboard, that you earn your diploma. And no matter what, that can never be taken away from you. I know everyone had their hearts and mindset on the celebrations and everything, but you earned your diploma. So congratulations to the class of 2020. I want to say thank you to our teachers and the staff members for your continued dedication to our students and their parents during this trying time. You guys have had to go above and beyond, and I would just like to say thank you for all your hard work during this trying time. For the parents and the students, I want you to stay safe with social distancing. Try to enjoy somewhat of a summer. What that summer entails. I work for the Big Three. We started back to work on Monday, and it's totally different as far as things going forward. but definitely try to enjoy, and I know it's getting hot outside, but try to enjoy somewhat of a summer as you move forward. Thank you to the superintendent and administrators for your continued support to our district. Your leadership has been definitely appreciated. And I want to bring a little bit of good news, but I won't get too ahead of it. There in the near future, I believe we're going to have some alumni of Mount Clemens step up in the program of electronics. So I'll tease you with that, but it's for the kids and supporting our students that may not have electronics at home, but that is coming. And those are my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Monk. Dr. McFadden.
Thank you, Mr. President. My comment is basically simple, straight to the point. You know, congratulations to our seniors and our students in our district. You know, they're going through some turmoil right now. They're having a hard time just coping. You know, some people think it's easy doing stuff at home, online. And I know a lot of our students are doing the thing they need to do. So I want to say thank you to our students for being those special troopers and maintaining the course. It's tough. And I want to say to those seniors that's graduating this year, I understand that tradition has been broken, but look at it as a new tradition is being created. So I hope they see it that way, and I hope they don't worry about old ways of doing things. And hail to Mount Clemens High School. That's all I got to say. That's my comments.
Thank you, Dr. McFadden. And that hail, you mean H-A-I-L.
Exactly. Not the H-double-E hockey sticks, but H-A-I-L.
Mrs. Jarrett.
Well, on that one, and that follow-up, I would like to start by recognizing the teachers. Without teachers, life would have no class. That's a quote I found online. I thought it was very cool. Because when teachers help us learn, and they also help us solve problems to change the future. Without teachers, where would we be? We all need teachers. And Mount Clemens staff, I really appreciate all the teachers at the school. To the staff, and this includes the food service, the admin, the janitorial, and the maintenance, you are the team that makes things work. You make things run, you make things happen at the school to support the teachers and the students and the board ourselves. So without you, we wouldn't have a team, our team would be lost. My final one is to the students. You are our hopes and dreams. You will not know what you can do until you are placed in the crucible of fire, which we're in right now. You know, you are the future with the plans. You guys will think outside the box. In the midst of this coronavirus, you will see things that you will not think of until you do it today. I mean, who knew we were going to be where we're at? Again, my fellow board member that said it's broken the chain. We have a new outlook on life. Don't let anyone or anything dim your sparkle, guys. You guys are amazing. You are our future, and you need to make a mark on the world. I want to congratulate the class of 2020 for making it and doing all they can to graduate and be where they're at. This will pass, and we will be better. Some people think worse, but I like to think of the future as that this was a challenge we needed to do so we can move forward. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming. Look forward, not back. Learn the lessons of the past and go to the future. And finally, once a bather, always a bather. Hoorah.
Thank you, Mrs. Jarrett. Mrs. Walker.
Well, I just want to echo my other board members' comments about the teachers and the staff and the superintendent. We certainly can't do this without you, and you've made a difference. If it wasn't for you, we'd have nothing. We wouldn't even be here tonight. So there are no words to thank you enough, and certainly in these hard times. And you have stepped up to the plate and made a really difficult situation a lot better. So for that, we thank you. I also wanted to officially welcome Monique Beals as our superintendent. We're excited. I know this isn't the best of circumstances to jump on board, but oh well. We can't offer you better circumstances. We can hope it gets better, but we're happy you're here with us. And to the class of 2020. You know, graduation seems to always be centered around as you approach that year, you're looking forward to prom and commencement, all that thing, all the pomp and circumstance that goes with it. Well, when all of that fades, what's really important is not the pomp and circumstance. What's really important is you. You're the reason for graduation. You're the reason for the prom. And yes, you missed some of these the way we would have usually done it, but you're no less important and no less loved and no less important. It's just all about you. This time is about you. And these hard times define who we are. You were born into or around 9/11, and you're graduating during COVID-19. You're tough. And you're going to do great things, and you're going to change the world. So know that my love and prayers are with you always, and go out there and make things better. Those are my comments.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. I like to echo, and it's tough following everybody because everybody have made such profound and great comments and remarks. And, I can't find words, but, I'll try to. Anyway, kudos to our teaching staff. I know this is Teacher Appreciation Month or Teacher Appreciation Week earlier this month. And we can't say enough in regards of our appreciations of your dedication, stick-to-itiveness, and just determination to do the right things for the students that attend the Mount Clemens Community Schools. I speak to teachers, and in our conversations, I realize that they're probably putting in more time on the task, not being in the school building, than they would have had they been in the school buildings on a regular day. So kudos to them for your dedication and determination to provide the best quality educational opportunity for our students that we can in this most tough, challenging days that we have behind us and that we will have going in front of us. I'd like to echo what Mrs. Walker just said. Welcome to Mrs. Beal. I know you've been around a little while, but now you are official. So we welcome you. You can't back out now. You got to run forward with us, not backwards away from us. But we welcome you to the Mount Clemens Community School District family. You're no stranger to us here and some of our families here. So welcome you officially to that. To the class of 2020. Ms. Walker, you just brought up an interesting point. You said they were born somewhere around 9/11, which was a crisis, and now they're graduating under this pandemic that is a bigger crisis than ever 9/11 ever could imagine to be, and that's kind of profound. That shows that the class of 2020 are survivors. They will make do. I know some of the graduating class, you went into your senior year thinking these were the best of times. And the last quarter of your senior year, when most of the fun stuff happens, the sky fell and it seemed to be the worst of times. So it went from the anticipation of the best of times to almost the heartbreaking of the worst of time, because all of the activities that generally would go on were not able to go on. But like my colleagues have said before me, that your graduating is no less of an accomplishment of any other the graduating classes from the Mount Clemens Community School District. You did the work, and in times you did the work in more difficult environments and situations than past graduating class, because I've never known of a time when school has been disrupted in the manner that it has been disrupted for this particular virus. So I say kudos, congratulations to the class of 2020. Congratulations to the class of 2020. We expect great things from you because you are survivors. You were born in a crisis, and you graduating in a world crisis. So it's got something special out there for you guys. Your innovativeness, your creativity. This will all be shown as we probably see what's in store for the graduation ceremonies, exercises that are being planned and put together. So kudos, congratulations to the graduating class of 2020, to the Mount Clemens Community District family at large. We know that it's hard times, but we're the Mount Clemens Community School District. We're in a position that we're trying to do what we can any way possible to support the families of the school district, K through 12, with meals and the various other rollout programs that had the delivery of packages and homework assignments, et cetera, with the host of volunteers and employees that are dedicating their time for all of these activities to provide the best opportunity for our students here in the Mount Clemens Community School District. I say kudos and thank you to you as well. Those are my comments. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Monk.
Support.
Second by Mrs. Walker. Call the roll, please. Paul, are you there?
Mr. Monk. Sorry.
Yes.
Ms. Walker.
Yes.
Ms. Escalante.
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett.
Yes.
Mr. Brulip.
Yes.
Dr. McFadden.
Yes.
And Mr. Rickman.
Also, congratulations and welcome on board to our new finance manager. If she was on the call, I apologize for not recognizing you. Yes. Motion carries, meeting adjourned. Meetings is adjourned at 7:36 p.m. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you. Stay healthy.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Happy holiday, everyone.
Oh, you too.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, guys. Good seeing everyone.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.